back to another lesson with Kal-El. So today we're going to talk about parentheses in equations. Now, oddly enough, a parentheses is the plural form. So that's actually these little guys right here. So it's 1, 2. Now, if you're only going to use one of these little curved hooks, that's a parenthesis, which is a singular form, and that's going to be with an I. Parentheses is 2, and that's going to be with E. So this is plural form. So let's talk about parentheses and why we need them in math. So I have two equations here that look exactly the same. One has 3 times 5 minus 2. One has 3 times 5 minus 2. As you can see, it's actually in a different off color. In this equation right here, I have 3 times 5 in red, and I have 5 minus 2 in red here. So you might be asking, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal about parentheses is that it lets us know which order to do first. Although these equations look exactly the same, they're going to produce us two very different results. So let me show you. So this one, if I'm going to say, hey, 3 times 5 minus 2, let me do the 3 times 5 first. So 3 times 5 gives me 15 minus 2. And that's going to give us an answer of 13. In here, I'm going to do the 5 minus 2 first. So 5 minus 2 is 3. And then the product of 3 times 3 is 9. Now, as you can clearly see here, 13 does not equal 9. It's not even close to being the same. So what's the big deal? Why are we even doing parentheses? So a long time ago, mathematicians actually used math to communicate. And so if we had these two separate equations and they couldn't decide on, well, one means 13. No, it actually means 9. They came up with a convention or basically a rule, like a way of doing things. So they decided that wherever we see a parenthesis, a parenthesis around an equation, we need to do that first. That way we are all in line and in common with what the answer will be. So that way we're not going to get 13 and then we're not going to get 9 from two for mathematicians. We're going to get the same answer because we decide to do parentheses. Okay, so it was just a way and a rule made up a long, long time ago to decide how are we going to do math to make sure that no matter who does math, it's all done the same exact way so we can all get the same exact answer so we can all agree on what the answer is. So let me show you a brief equation that I already came up with. So in this equation, I have 10 times 3 divided by 5. And because I know the parentheses are around here, I need to do 10 times 3 first. Now, although I just said that, I'm going to show you what I like to do first to keep myself very, very organized. So even before I start solving the equation inside the parentheses, I like to bring down the numbers that are not being used so I can make sure I do not forget it. In third grade, I have seen this time and time again where students solve the number in the parentheses and then they think that's the answer because they totally forgot about the rest of the equation. Trust me when I say this, I saw this in 80% of my kids tonight when I taught this lesson. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring down the numbers I'm not using the parentheses. In this case, 10 times 3 is the parentheses, so I'm going to leave that alone. I see that I have divided by 5 here, so I'm going to bring that down first. So I just copy it. Divided by 5. Okay. Now I could solve what's in the parentheses. I know that 10 times 3 is 10 equal groups of 3. So 10 times 3 is 30. And now my full equation is going to be 30 divided by 5, which gives me a quotient, because it's an answer to a division problem, of 6. Now, once again, the most common mistake in third grade is that you'll do the parentheses, 10 times 3, and you'll have the answer of 30, and that's it, although you forgot the rest of the equation. So let me show you one more, and this time I'm going to have the parentheses on the right-hand side. So let's just say 2 plus 15 minus 6. Now, once again, although you're going to solve the parentheses first, I like to bring down the numbers that are not being used so I do not forget about them. So in this case, I'm going to bring down the 2 plus. Because I want to make sure that I do not forget about this part of the equation. And now I'm going to solve what's inside the parentheses. 15 minus 6, that's going to give me 9. And then I know the sum of 2 plus 9 is going to give me 11. Please notice that wherever I put the numbers at, I want to make sure that if it was on the right side, I kept it on the right side. If it was on the left side, I kept it on the left side. That way I'm very neat and organized, because later on in the future, you're going to run up to equations that have 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 numbers. So by being organized now, you're preparing yourself for a more successful future. Anyhow, I hope this helps you tonight with doing your math homework, and hopefully you understand parentheses and how they're used in equations. Once again, parentheses just tell you, hey, we need to do this equation first.